Welcome to the ultimate showdown in Ludo King, the world's favorite digital board game that brings friends, families, and rivals together into a colorful, competitive battlefield of dice, strategy, and luck. Today, we're diving into a massive 6-player match that runs for over 78 minutes, so buckle in, grab your snacks, and let's turn this into a thrilling ride of laughter, tension, and unexpected twists. Whether you're watching because you love the fun chaos of Ludo King, you're trying to sharpen your skills, or you simply enjoy good competitive gameplay, you've come to the right place. This is not just a casual game, this is 6 different personalities, 6 different strategies, and one final outcome that nobody can predict. Stay tuned until the end, because the journey from the first roll of the dice to the final token that reaches home is going to keep you hooked. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. This space is dedicated to delivering the best Ludo King content with commentary that keeps you engaged from start to finish. We don't just show you numbers rolling on a dice. We transform every game into a story, because every match has its heroes, its villains, its shocking turnarounds, and its moments of glory. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Your support helps us grow, and it ensures that we can continue bringing you long-form, entertaining content like this 6-player marathon match. So let's start strong, and let's see how the battlefield unfolds. The opening moments of a Ludo King match are always exciting because they set the tone for the entire journey. With 6 players on the board, the space feels immediately alive. Colors pop, strategies spark into motion, and already you can sense that some players will try to play aggressively, while others will sit back and wait for opportunities. That's the beauty of Ludo King, it mirrors life in so many ways. Sometimes you're patient and careful, sometimes you take risks, and sometimes fate decides to step in and shake everything up. And when you put 6 different minds against each other in the same match, it becomes even more unpredictable. This isn't just a board game, it's a battle of patience, timing, and courage. Over the next 78 minutes, you're going to witness alliances form, rivalries heat up, and strategies collide in ways that only Ludo King can deliver. As the game begins to settle, each player starts thinking about their personal rhythm. Did they rush to get all tokens out quickly, or did they focus on one and play defensively? Did they attack and block their rivals, or did they sneak past unnoticed, like a thief in the night? The first few rolls may look simple, but they are laying the groundwork for everything to come. And because this is a 6-player match, there's no room for hesitation. Every choice matters, every move can shift the balance, and one player's boldness can change the destiny of another. Already, you can feel the tension rising, because in a crowded board, survival becomes just as important as speed. Viewers, keep your eyes open, because in matches like this, anything can happen, and often it does. Now, here's where I need your help to make this channel thrive. As you watch, don't just sit back quietly. Engage with us. Drop a comment telling me which color you think will dominate this match. Do you have a favorite strategy when you play Ludo King? Are you an attacker who loves knocking others off the board, or are you more of a safe player who carefully guards your progress? Share your style in the comments below, because I love reading your stories and strategies. And while you're at it, give this video a like if you're enjoying the flow so far. Every like helps the video reach more people, and it tells us that you want more 6-player madness on the channel. As the match begins to gain momentum, the board is no longer just a colorful space of scattered tokens. It's starting to look like a battlefield where every move has meaning. With 6 players in the arena, the action is non-stop, and there's never a quiet moment. The dice roll, the tokens move, and strategies slowly reveal themselves. Some players are showing their aggressive side early, making bold choices that send shockwaves across the board. Others are playing a long game, carefully advancing their pieces, avoiding conflict until the perfect opportunity arises. This balance between caution and courage is what makes a 6-player match so thrilling. It's like watching 6 minds racing against time, luck, and each other. And the best part, none of them can truly predict what's about to happen next. That level of suspense keeps the audience leaning forward, waiting for the unexpected twist that will flip the game upside down. In a smaller match, you might get a chance to breathe, but with 6 opponents, every second feels alive with possibility. One moment, a player might be sitting comfortably with pieces close to home, and in the very next turn, everything changes. That's the beauty of Ludo King. It doesn't matter how safe you think you are, the game has its own way of teaching humility. A single bold move from a rival can undo minutes of careful progress, and suddenly the board is wide open again. For viewers like you, this makes the mid-game stage one of the most exciting parts to watch, because it's not just about movement, it's about the psychology of 6 different competitors trying to outthink each other. Who will show nerves of steel? Who will crumble under pressure? And who will find the courage to take risks that others would never dare? These are the questions that keep the match unpredictable. Let's also take a moment to recognize how rare and fun it is to witness a 6-player showdown in Ludo King. Most people are used to 4-player formats, but when you add 2 extra challengers, the entire dynamic shifts. Suddenly, the board feels crowded, opportunities for alliances increase, and the chaos is multiplied. You never know who might team up, even unofficially, to slow down a leader. You never know who might suddenly rise from the bottom to the top with one lucky streak. And that unpredictability is why this video is a must-watch until the very end. If you're a Ludo King fan, you already know how satisfying it feels to watch a game where nobody is safe, and anyone can win. And if you're new, you're about to learn that patience, courage, and timing are just as important as the dice themselves. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, it's clear you enjoy watching competitive gameplay as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. That means you and I have something in common. The thrill of strategy, the fun of unpredictability, and the joy of celebrating small victories on the board. So here's my challenge for you. Pause for a moment and hit that like button right now if you're enjoying the match so far. Better yet, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because this is just one of many epic games we've got lined up for you. Every subscription is like rolling a 6 in our book. It gives us energy, motivation, and the drive to keep creating more. And don't forget the bell icon, because you never know when the next 6-player showdown will drop, and you don't want to miss it. Back to the game, and you can already sense the energy building. Tokens are advancing further, rivalries are sparking, and strategies are clashing. With every turn, the stakes rise a little higher. What's truly fascinating here is watching how each player adapts to the shifting board. Some double down on aggression, striking fear into their rivals by refusing to back off. Others quietly build momentum, sliding their pieces across the board with surgical precision, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. We are now deep into the heart of this 6-player showdown, and the energy has shifted from playful openings to serious competition. The board no longer feels like a playground, it feels like a battlefield where every step is contested, and every token carries the weight of a bigger strategy. This is the stage of the game where tempers flare, rivalries come alive, and the smallest mistake can turn into a costly setback. Players who once appeared comfortable are suddenly under threat, and those who were struggling in the beginning are finding opportunities to rise. That's the brilliance of a long Ludo King match, it teaches you never to count anyone out. One roll of the dice can rewrite the script, and in a 6-player match, the script is rewritten again and again. At this stage, you can sense alliances, whether intentional or accidental, forming across the board. Two players might find themselves repeatedly clashing with the same opponent, creating an unspoken teamwork to slow down the leader. Another player might quietly take advantage of the chaos, slipping past unnoticed while others are too busy fighting. These subtle dynamics are what make Ludo King fascinating. It's not just a game of dice, it's a game of psychology, timing, and reading the board. And with 6 different players thinking 6 different ways, the tension builds like a storm waiting to break. For viewers like you, that's exactly why this video is worth watching from beginning to end, because no matter who you think is in control, the game has a way of humbling them. Let's talk about momentum, because in Ludo King, momentum is everything. When a player starts stringing together good rolls, it feels like they're unstoppable. They zoom across the board, putting pressure on everyone else, and suddenly the atmosphere shifts. But momentum is fragile, it can be shattered in seconds. One unlucky roll, one unexpected block, and all that progress vanishes. That's what makes the mid to late stage of this match so thrilling. Momentum changes hands constantly, and the suspense never fades. Right now, the players are juggling speed, safety, and aggression all at once, trying to secure their tokens while keeping an eye on everyone else. It's like juggling fire, drop it for a moment, and you get burned. And with 6 opponents, there's nowhere to hide for long. If you're enjoying this intensity, here's where I need your support. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now if you haven't already. This isn't just about watching one game, it's about joining a community of Ludo King fans who love strategy, drama, and unpredictable twists as much as you do. When you subscribe, you're telling us that you want more epic matches like this, and trust me, we've got plenty more lined up. And while you're here, hit that like button if you're enjoying how unpredictable this game has been so far. It's free, it only takes a second, and it helps the channel grow so we can keep delivering the best content for you. Plus, don't forget to ring the notification bell, because you don't want to miss the next showdown when it drops. Back to the match, and the stakes are higher than ever. Some players are inches away from safety, racing toward home with determination, while others are still fighting tooth and nail just to stay in the game. What's inspiring to watch is the resilience. Nobody is giving up, even when the odds seem stacked against them. And that's a lesson that goes beyond the game. Life, just like Ludo King, is unpredictable. Sometimes you're on top, sometimes you're behind, but as long as you keep rolling, there's always a chance for a comeback. That mindset of perseverance is why games like this resonate with millions of people around the world. now reached the stage of the match where every single move feels like a do-or-die decision. The board is crowded, tokens are dangerously close to each other, and the energy has shifted into pure survival mode. This is no longer about casual rolls or safe positioning, this is about making bold moves, taking risks, and hoping luck doesn't betray you at the last second. In a 6-player Ludo King battle, the late game is where champions are defined and heartbreaks are born. Every piece on the board represents hours of tension, dozens of decisions, and countless twists of fortune. To lose one now would sting deeply, but to succeed here would feel like absolute triumph. Viewers, lean in, because what happens from here onward will determine who takes home the ultimate bragging rights in this epic 78-minute showdown. What makes this moment so compelling is the uncertainty. You might think you can predict the winner, but in Ludo King, the endgame is notorious for shocking everyone. A player who looks dominant can be sent back to start in a blink, and an underdog who has been fighting from behind can suddenly surge forward with a streak of lucky rolls. That unpredictability is what keeps millions hooked on this game, and it's exactly why you're watching right now. The dice hold the power, but so does decision making. Should a player go for the kill and block an opponent, or should they rush forward and try to cross the finish line? Those choices create the tension we live for. And with 6 different minds, 6 different strategies, and a board that's bursting with danger, anything can happen. This is also where the psychological warfare comes into play. Some players may start bluffing with their moves, trying to intimidate rivals into hesitation. Others may go completely fearless, playing as if nothing can stop them, daring opponents to challenge their path. And then there are those who stay quiet and steady, never showing color, never revealing their nerves, but inching closer and closer to the final stretch. Which style will prove victorious today? That's the story we're watching unfold right now. For you, the viewer, it's like watching a thriller movie unfold in real time, except the actors don't know the script, and the ending hasn't been written yet. That's why this is so exciting, and that's why you should stay tuned until the very last second. Before we go any deeper, I want to pause for a quick moment to thank you for watching this far into the game. You're not just a casual viewer, you're a real fan of competitive Ludo King matches. And because you've stuck with us, I want to personally invite you to subscribe to this channel right now if you haven't already. By subscribing, you're joining a community that loves strategy, drama, and epic showdowns as much as you do. We're building something special here, and you're a big part of it. So hit that subscribe button, give this video a like if you're enjoying the intensity, and ring the bell so you never miss another showdown like this one. It costs nothing, but it means everything to the growth of this channel. So thank you in advance for being part of this journey with us. Back to the battlefield, and the finish line is starting to come into view. Tokens are closing in, but danger still lurks around every corner. One wrong move could send a piece all the way back to the starting line, undoing minutes of careful progress. That's the knife-edge tension of this late-game moment. Players are calculating, hesitating, and sometimes throwing caution to the wind in a desperate attempt to secure their victory. You can feel their nerves through the screen, and that makes it even more thrilling to watch. Every roll of the dice now feels like destiny in action. Will fortune smile on the bold? Or will patience win the day? Only time will tell, and that uncertainty is what keeps this video unmissable. The finish line is in sight, and the atmosphere is absolutely electric. This is the moment that every Ludo King player dreams of, the final stretch where victory is within reach, but the risk of heartbreak still looms large. With 6 players battling all the way through 78 minutes of intensity, the journey has been nothing short of spectacular. Every strategy has been tested, every bold move has been challenged, and every lucky roll has left its mark on the board. Now, it all comes down to these last moments. The dice are rolling, the tokens are racing, and tension fills the air like thunder before a storm. Who will cross the finish line first? Who will claim the crown in this marathon battle of minds, luck, and determination? It's time for the climax we've all been waiting for. As the final moves unfold, you can almost hear the collective heartbeat of all 6 players. Nobody wants to make a mistake, and nobody wants to be the one who comes so close only to fall short. Tokens are dangerously close, and with every roll, the suspense grows. Viewers, this is where legends are made. It's the final dash, the last gamble, and the ultimate test of nerves. And in true Ludo King fashion, the ending does not disappoint. Against the odds, after countless twists and turnarounds, one player rises above the rest and claims the victory. The board has spoken, the dice have decided, and the journey ends with a champion standing tall. What a game! What a battle! This 6-player showdown has delivered everything we hoped for and more. Take a moment to reflect on what we've just witnessed. Over an hour of non-stop action, 6 different strategies collided, moments of dominance, moments of despair, and one unforgettable finish. Matches like this remind us why Ludo King has captured the hearts of millions around the world. It's more than just a board game, it's a mirror of life itself. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, but if you stay patient, resilient, and bold, you always have a chance to win. That's the beauty of this game, and that's why we keep coming back to it again and again. Today's champion may be one player, but in truth, everyone who fights through a match like this deserves respect, because surviving a 6-player war takes both skill and courage. For you, the viewer, this is your victory too. You stuck with us for 78 minutes and 28 seconds of intense gameplay, and that means you're not just a casual watcher, you're part of this journey. And because you stayed until the end, I have one final request. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel right now. By subscribing, you're joining a family of gamers who love competition, strategy, and epic stories just like this one. Don't just watch, be part of the community. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the battle, share this video with your friends so they can join in the fun, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss the next epic showdown. Every click of support helps us grow, and it motivates us to keep bringing you bigger, bolder, and even more thrilling Ludo King content. And before we close, I want to hear from you one last time. Drop a comment telling me your favorite moment from this match. Was it the surprising comebacks, the fierce rivalries, or the jaw-dropping final dash to the finish line? Your comments are what keep this channel alive, and I love hearing your perspectives after every game. Maybe your favorite player color won, or maybe the underdog stole your heart. Whatever it was, share it below, because this community thrives on your voice and your passion for the game. As the dust settles and the winner celebrates, we look ahead to the future. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning of many more epic Ludo King battles to come. 6-player matches, 4-player showdowns, surprise formats, and endless stories of courage, luck, and strategy are waiting for us. The game never truly ends, it just resets foe. And with that, our journey through this incredible Ludo King showdown comes to a close. What a match it has been. 78 minutes of non-stop action, packed with strategy, luck, and unforgettable drama. 6 players entered the arena, each with their own approach, their own confidence, and their own determination. Along the way, we saw bold moves, surprising comebacks, clever defenses, and moments that had us holding our breath. But that's exactly what makes Ludo King so timeless. It never plays out the same way twice. Every game tells a different story, and every roll of the dice is a new chapter. This one will be remembered for its intensity, its unpredictability, and, of course, the ultimate winner who emerged after such a long and grueling contest. If you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you, then you're in the right place, because this is just one of many epic journeys waiting for you here. Now, let's take a moment to talk about the power of this community. You're not just viewers, you're part of something bigger. Every time you like a video, drop a comment, or hit subscribe, you're building a family of gamers who share the same passion for competition, laughter, and strategy. That's what makes this channel more than just gameplay. It makes it an experience, a place where fans of Ludo King can come together, cheer for their favorites, and learn from each other. And if you're new here, welcome. You've just joined a community that's growing every day, and we'd love for you to be part of it. Go ahead and subscribe right now if you haven't already, and don't forget to ring that bell icon so you never miss the next epic match we upload. As we move forward, I want to keep this space interactive. That's why I want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts about today's game. What was your favorite moment? Was there a move that made you shout at the screen, or a comeback that left you stunned? Did your favorite player color manage to win, or did the underdog surprise you? Sharing your thoughts not only keeps the conversation alive, but it also helps us learn what you love most, so we can keep making content that excites you. I read every comment, and I truly appreciate the time you take to be part of this journey. So don't be shy, join the conversation and let's celebrate the fun of this game together. And here's something else to think about: strategy. Ludo King is a game of both luck and skill, and every player has their own style. Some are fearless attackers, always looking to send rivals back to the start. Others are careful defenders, protecting their progress at all costs. Some rush forward recklessly, while others move with patience and precision. Which style do you prefer? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's see which strategy is most popular among our viewers. Who knows, you might even pick up a tip or two from other fans, and improve your own game in the process. Before we wrap up completely, let me also remind you about the future of this channel. What you've seen today is just one chapter in a growing series of exciting matches. We have more 6-player battles coming, 4-player classics, and maybe even some surprise twists to keep things fresh. Each game will bring new stories, new challenges, and new reasons to celebrate the joy of playing. By subscribing, you'll be part of every new adventure as soon as it drops. And if you really enjoyed this video, consider sharing it with your friends or family who also love Ludo King. Spread the excitement, and let's bring more people into this community of passionate fans. Finally, let's close on the same high energy we started with. Today's match was proof that Ludo King is not just a casual board game, it's a test of patience, strategy, skill, and resilience. And even though luck plays a part, it's the choices players make that truly define the outcome. That's why we keep coming back, rolling the dice, and chasing that next unforgettable win. So thank you again for joining us today. Your time, your energy, and your support mean everything. Until next time, keep rolling, keep playing, and keep believing that the next game could be the greatest one yet. The dice are waiting, the board is ready, and the story continues with the next epic showdown right here on the channel. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.